And now, your Midday Ark-La-Miss news update.
Tuesday afternoon, thanks for tuning in to NBC News Daily. I'm Randy Stone with your Midday Ark-La-Miss update. NBC 10 is your local election headquarters, and there are 8 proposed amendments to the Louisiana Constitution that you should get to vote on in November. Amendment 7 looks at removing language from the state constitution that allows involuntary slavery as a punishment for a crime. This means incarcerated people could still be forced to perform labor. NBC 10's Valerie Moravi spoke with a ULM professor and has those details.
Amendment 7 is an issue that's been fought for in legislature for years, but is now met with some concerns. The bill's author, Representative Edmund Jordan of Brosley, originally wanted the language struck from the Constitution and saw this as a compromise. But after seeing the ballot language, there are concerns it could potentially expand the punishment due to the ambiguous text. ULM professor of political science Joshua Stockley says this amendment is a symbolic statement for the state of Louisiana.
This amendment is cleaning the words to the extent that it is indicating that slavery or indentured servitude is prohibited in its exact form.
Currently, the state constitution bans slavery and involuntary servitude except as a punishment for a crime. Stockley says this is an important wording change in the amendment.
Because as currently worded, we do have except in the latter case as punishment for crime. And so you just kind of feel like the door is still open for something to resemble that. You don't want anyone to have that uncertainty, and you want to make it clear to your own state that this is not acceptable in any form.
And as far as the consequences of this amendment, if it fails to pass, Stockley says
it would be a public relations disaster for the state of Louisiana if this amendment fails.
Reporting in Monroe, I'm Valerie Moravi for your Ark-La-Miss news source.
In more election news, if you live in Arkansas, the deadline to register to vote is today. You can register by printing a voter form, filling it out, and mailing it into your local election office with a postmark by today. You can also register to vote in person at your local county clerk's office. For more details surrounding voter registration in Arkansas, head to sos.arkansas.gov. In other news, ULM is mourning the loss of a longtime faculty member, Dr. Long. Dr. Long was the director of the School of Visual and Performing Arts and spent 22 years working at the university. ULM's president, Ronald Berry, says Long will be dearly missed. He passed away Sunday. As cleanup continues in Florida after Hurricane Ian, St. Frederick High School is stepping up to help. Starting in October 11th, they will be filling up a truck with water and cleaning supplies to take to Florida. Accepting donations are starting today, or October the 11th, and going until October 14th.
And now, exclusive Storm Tracker Doppler weather from the most experienced meteorologist in the Ark-La-Miss, Jared Floyd.
Another warm, dry day across the area with the prospects of perhaps some changes tomorrow, although they're brief and not overly significant. We'll look for daytime highs in the mid to upper 80s under partly cloudy skies. Winds out of the southeast. Starting the day, probably with mostly sunny skies, and those clouds on the increase as we work through the afternoon. Not quite as cool tonight, upper 50s to low 60s, but more low 60s as the clouds continue to linger across the area. A light southerly breeze will hang with us as well. And then we really set up the cold front that'll pass through the area on Wednesday, bringing the potential for some scattered showers and thunderstorms. An isolated strong to severe storm can't be ruled out. It is that time of the year as these fronts get a little bit stronger, have a little bit of moisture to work with, then obviously some stronger thunderstorm activity will be possible. As we go towards Sunday and Monday, it's really just the potential for a few showers. This cold front a little bit weaker, but also bringing some cooler air back into the mix early parts of next week. Could knock highs back into the 70s on Monday, but the morning lows generally staying in the 50s and 60s. Neither one of these fronts really bring enough rainfall to squash burn bans and things of that nature across the region, so the fire danger will remain high until we can get some significant widespread of rain back into the area, which doesn't look to happen over the next 7 to 10 days, maybe the next 2 weeks.
NBC News Daily continues now. God bless.